Hello, folks. Welcome to the 9th episode of the Plucking Petals podcast with James and Kyle. I am Kyle.
I'm James.
As we go a little something like this.
It's all about the good, bad, love, hate.
How are you doing today, buddy?
I'm actually in a very good mood. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well myself. Why are you in such a good mood?
Because I just changed out of my wet socks into dry socks.
Boom.
And I'm not even joking. My nice, warm, dry feet just make me feel really good.
I must admit, I walked in the living room and I saw you switching your socks, and it filled me with determination, and it felt
Yes.
it made me feel like a lot of this is gonna be Undertale jokes at this point, but I feel like I felt everything was gonna be okay today, knowing that you switched your socks. There is something about switching clothes halfway through the day that just makes you feel good. Socks, underwear.
Especially like working in a brewery, it is
Yeah.
like all water. And so even though I have waterproof, whatever boots, my feet just sweat into them. And so my feet get kind of wet.
Yeah, they
And
get
so,
kind of
like,
funky.
One of my favorite moments of the day is when I get home and immediately rip my boots and socks off. And then so I came here from work instead of going home, so I had an extra pair of socks and a pair of tennis shoes in my car. And just
Gotcha.
switching my socks out, I feel nice and warm and cozy, and it's all like wintry outside, and the contrast just makes me feel good.
There we go. I like it. Now, have you ever considered? I used to do this once in a while. I don't do it anymore, so I don't need to. But when I used to work at the factory, I used to bring an extra pair of socks, and then when I got halfway through my shift, I would just switch the socks.
I always have an extra pair of socks in my car just in case a day shows up where I'm halfway through and they're so.
And this is just yeah.
But my boots are really good, so they only get kind of wet. It really is just all this wet.
What
as
kind of
gross as
boots
that
do you
is.
have?
They're just made by like Caterpillar, but they're like steel toe, non-slip, waterproof. I'm looking for a new pair though, because the steel toe are heavy as hell, and I feel like I'm clomping around in the iron boots from Legend of Zelda. Like I could just put on the blue tunic and sink to the bottom of a lake.
Well, talk about, our first sponsor. I've got our first sponsor today. It is Red Wings for composite-toed shoes. Just kidding. We don't have anything that's a sponsor the least bit. I just know you can get those
I
kind of
have heard
shoes
of
at Red Wings.
yes.
There's one in Strong. They're all over the place.
Yeah,
North
all over.
Olmsted, everywhere. They're kind of cool.
There's
They
a lot of cool options.
They fit your feet. They like really like they touch my foot at one point. I'm like, this is not okay. Like for you, like it's fine for me. For you, it's bad news. So I'm glad that you're doing okay. I'm so glad that you came here right from work because you look fantastic in your collared platform brewery like worker shirt. You pull it off quite well.
Well,
I
if you
appreciate
look,
it.
I have to wear it because my Left 4 Dead shirt is nothing but holes.
Oh no!
Yeah.
What Left 4 Dead is that, one or two?
It is either of them. It's just a red shirt that says "You will become the tank. Prepare to attack survivors."
Perfect.
I love this shirt, but it is just riddled with holes now.
Yeah.
So I use it as an undershirt.
It's an old game.
Yeah.
It probably came out 2000. I think I was in high school when that came out. It's 2006 maybe.
Yeah, I think it was my freshman year of college, which was 2006.
Okay.
Yeah.
I nailed that one. I'm
you
good
did.
at time and
Yeah,
how
you
that
are.
works. So yeah, I'm glad everything is going well for you. I got out of work early today because I had to record someone at a dealership at 6:30 in the morning. So I had a little more time to prepare for this. And by preparing, I mean I went to the gym and then I ate a piece of pizza.
Oh, nice.
So I am very much prepared in my life for this podcast.
I feel like it's time to put you on the
today.
spot a little bit.
Well,
I asked if you wanted to hang out on Friday, but you said, no, I'm hanging out with a lady friend. So,
I am sorry.
How did your lady friend night go?
I think it went well.
Walk me through the night. Like, let's see what kind of game you're spitting.
Game is not something that I only play the games that I win at, James. Let's put it that way.
You don't do anything.
Just kidding. I know. Yeah, I don't play any games at any point at any time whatsoever. No, I thought it went pretty well. She didn't kick me out of her place. Talked to me and treated me as a person.
Oh, that stuff's boring. What'd you do?
I know.
Did you watch a movie? Did you?
Yeah,
Did you play Mortal Kombat?
We watched some movies. We watched some. Oh God, there's a guy named Rob Frick that does these like visually stunning kind of movies. A lot of them are just, they don't have a narrator or anything, but it's just, they're like documentaries in a way, but basically it's just a bunch of time-lapse stuff and just him just shooting stuff for like minutes at a time. They're very visually striking films, and she has introduced them to me, and it makes me so mad beyond comprehension because everything that he has done makes me feel like I have not done shit with the camera yet. And just the way that he shoots
yet, though. That's
I know. Well, I want to be a little positive in my life now. Things are going well in my life. I'm not dead yet, so I consider that to be a plus. So yeah, it just I think the evening went well.
Nice.
So I'm seeing her again this week, and we'll see how things go.
Will she be at trivia tonight?
No, she will not. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Enough about my personal life. What are you playing video game wise? What are you doing? What's new?
You want to just talk about Undertale?
Yeah, I kind of want to talk about Undertale. Like that's.
I know we mentioned
set
it
up.
before, but it really sucked me in over this week. So I spent probably most of my free time playing this little indie game called Undertale.
Yes.
I found out it was actually made by one guy.
Okay.
So it has one of the best soundtracks of any game I have ever played.
Okay.
Every single encounter, everything, it just jammed. I've been like jamming out to it all day. It's
Okay.
fantastic. But one thing that's, the combat is just kind of like you click attack like an RPG, but then on the defense, it's like a bullet hell game where they shoot at you and you control this little heart and try to dodge.
Yeah.
So you can like physically not take damage. But
If you get lucky.
what is great about the game is the characters and just like the world they've built.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give it away, but like it's only $15 I think right now, maybe 20 at the high.
I think
end.
it's 12.
Yeah,
I think it's a 10 to 12 bucks. I think.
So
on Steam.
And especially like maybe don't buy it now. Well, by the time this comes out, the Steam Christmas sale may have started.
This is true. We don't know when that's going to happen,
yeah,
and
'cause
my wallet is already nervous.
Yeah, so if that goes on sale for any amount, if you're listening to this, you probably have similar sensibilities to me and Kyle here.
Exactly.
Buy this game.
And you buy really good games. My favorite part of this game, because I'm also playing and I'm very much behind. You said you beat it the other day.
Last night.
Last night you beat it.
Literally at 11:30 I beat it and then went to bed.
Fantastic. So I'm not at that point yet.
Yeah.
But I will say my favorite part of the game is the fact that how combat works, you have two options. You can just deal damage and just beat the shit out of these people and take them out and knock them out or whatever. Or you can talk your way out of fighting them. There are certain ways that you have to take monsters and you can, like, for example, like the dog, you have to like let the dog smell you and then he'll attack, and then you have to pet the dog and then you have to play with the dog and then he'll be able to run away.
And then you get the money. Like, so you can
still
just
get the
run
money.
from battles, but then there's this option called spare.
Yeah.
And so you can, if you do the right thing, they're like, well, I don't want to fight this guy, so you still get the money, but you don't get any experience.
Yeah.
And you have to use context clues to figure it out, and they're really funny.
They are.
So there's this one called, toward the end of the game, there's this enemy that looks like a female commercial airline plane.
Okay.
It's really weird, but it like something about the way she talks seems like she might be kind of romantically interested in you.
Okay.
So you choose the action like approach, and it's like you get close but not too close.
Ah.
And then so like her attack comes, and there's like these little airplanes surrounded by a green bubble. So if you hit the green bubble, it heals you, but then if you hit the airplane, it hurts you. So it's like you want to get close, but not too close.
Yeah.
But then if you do that, you hit the green bubble, then you have the option to flirt with it.
Okay.
And then if you do that, then you can finish the fight.
Okay.
And
Interesting.
without killing it, but then still get the money.
So basically, the whole game, you can actually not fight anyone.
Yeah,
you can
so
potentially
just kinda, like see what the thing does, try different options, and some work, some don't, and see what works. And
which I find to be very interesting. And the writing is just on point. The jokes it's very funny. It's very self-aware. And that's what I like about the game.
Yeah.
The other game I've been playing, well, not really playing. I only played a couple of matches, but that Doom Alpha came out this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
I got to play, I think, 4 or 5 times maybe. I had kind of a busy weekend. It was pretty good. I enjoyed it. It reminds me of Quake, but it felt a little slower. Probably because the fact that it was like a 4-on-4 kind of match. And I feel like you need to have like a 6-on-6 to make it as chaotic as Quake is. But yeah, no, I liked it. I thought it was okay. I don't really play Doom for multiplayer very often, but I can see myself playing it, I guess. I don't know. It's only an alpha, so there's still a bunch of problems with it and whatnot. It clearly was not complete by any capacity. And, yeah.
All right, let's do one more piece of video game stuff before we jump into today's topics.
Let's get out of the way.
There was that Rainbow Six Siege beta last week.
Yes.
So if you're listening, the game's already out. The game's already out now.
Yeah.
Did you play it at all? I know me and James played it.
I played one match, and it was so confusing, and my computer wasn't handling it right, and I was lagging the whole time on top of not knowing what to do, and so I just got so frustrated that I just stopped playing. I didn't even finish the match.
Yeah.
Like, I think I played 10 minutes of it. It just made me upset.
So without going into too much detail, it's like a 5-on-5 kind of one team attacks, one team defends, different objectives. It seems like it's a cool idea, but there's 2 gigantic problems with the game. Mm-hmm. And I just read an article, I can't even remember, my Google News or Cards gave it to me. Yeah. That was like, no one bought Rainbow Six Siege and they should have. People are buying like Battlefront and Call of Duty, but they're not buying these new innovative shooters. Let me tell you about 2 problems with this game.
Yeah.
One, there's no single player campaign, which is fine. If you want to do a multiplayer only, then give us something else for that $60. And they didn't. There's very few maps. There is 3 game types.
No.
And here is the other big problem.
Okay.
Microtransactions.
No.
It is a $60 game that you have to throw more money at constantly if you want to unlock the content in a timely manner.
Man.
So nothing drives me crazy like a $60 game with microtransactions. There are 2 methods of selling your game. It's free to play, and you have microtransactions. Some games do that well. Dota, League of Legends, the MOBAs do that pretty well. Planet Side 2 is a shooter I really like. I haven't played it in a while, but it does the free to play really well.
Yeah.
Or you're a $60 game, and I just buy you and play you. Yeah. You can't have both.
Yeah,
and so that's why, well, no one's buying Rainbow Six Siege. You shouldn't, because I don't want companies to think that you can charge us $60 for a game and then make us pay more money.
Kick us again.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. Well, since you're on this mad train, tell me what your dislike is this week, James.
Oh, it kind of throws me off. But I might.
Oh, does it? Yeah. My bad. Do you want to do a like?
Yeah, I'll do my like.
And do an upper and then a downer? Yeah. Perfect.
This week is DNA.
DNA.
Yeah. So,
what is the DNA?
So I wanted to kind of, as simply as I can, explain just what DNA does.
Please, I want it as simple as possible.
Yeah. It stands for deoxyribonucleic acid, which I don't care if you know that. That's not important. Ooh. That's like
that's rough.
So that's like knowing that is like knowing the digits of pi. That doesn't really matter, but knowing what pi is more important.
Yeah.
And it's, the radiance to the circumference of a circle.
Sure.
Not relevant. But what I'm saying is what I want you to take away from here
is
just knowing like what DNA does.
Okay.
So the best way to kind of visualize...
It's that ladder thing that's all spirally.
It kind of looks like a spiral ladder.
Nailed it. I barely passed by all my science classes. So.
But here's how... think of it like this. In that ladder, you take one side of that ladder, and it's like a string of letters.
Okay.
So DNA can be one of 4 letters, A, G, C, or T.
Okay.
And so what it does then is it stretches out, and A always binds with T. And you can always remember that because like T and A is what you look for in a girl, right?
Yeah.
And then G always binds with C. So this creates a cool complex. The way it looks like a ladder is because one side, if you have one side, you can always make the other side because the letters always have the same binding partner.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Why isn't it A, B, and then C and D? Why is it...
It's for the name of the molecule. So A is adenine, C is cytosine. I don't know why they were named that, but the letters represent what the molecule looks like. I don't want to get into too much here.
That's fine.
So just know that like there are 4 possible letters, and one always binds with another one. So that way you can have one strand and always use that to make another strand.
Okay.
So this is very important because every living thing that I'm aware of starts as a single cell and then grows up to more cells.
Yeah.
And the reason
like
this is
me,
possible...
your friend.
Yes, like
Kyle.
my friend Kyle.
Yeah.
Is because, each strand of DNA can be pulled apart and make a duplicate strand because it has the template for the other one.
Okay.
So that's why it's awesome.
Okay.
But then not a lot of people know, how it works. So of those 4 letters it can be, it's read in 3 chunks, like a 3-letter chunk.
Okay.
So like AAT or AGC. And then so that is translated into that turns into proteins. So that's why you know here where protein comes from. It's the DNA encodes it. Just to be completely accurate, I don't care if you remember this, there's an intermediate molecule called RNA.
Okay.
So the DNA gets transcribed into RNA, and the RNA gets translated into protein.
Wasn't that the part of Jurassic Park? Wasn't that like a thing of
They
Jurassic Park?
mention it briefly, and
Perfect.
I'm not sure why this is. If you look at the DNA in the background of Jurassic Park, you see AGCT. Cool, they nailed it.
Yeah.
But there's also bees in there for some reason, and I'm not sure why.
B as in dinosaurs,
Yeah,
obviously.
I don't know.
I don't
so
understand.
They were so close to getting it.
Yeah.
I
They
don't know
almost nailed
if
it.
they think maybe that means, hey, it can be any of the four.
Yeah.
But no, that's written as N. So if
Okay.
you ever see like it's AGCT, but N, you can be like, oh, it can be any of them. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
But anyway, so it's read in 3-letter chunks. Each 3-letter chunk is an amino acid, which is a piece of protein.
Groovy.
So it's
I like
just-
protein.
Yeah. So one thing that's really interesting about this is the same 3 letters code for the same amino acid, with a very few very special exceptions, every single organism on the planet. So
Okay.
like biochemically, from a fungus to a banana to a human being, we are the same. It is the same genetic code.
I can see that.
Everywhere.
I could see me
So-
being a banana. That's just me
So
personally.
this is one of those like, very important pieces of evidence for evolution being a thing, is the fact that this genetic code is the same. If this wasn't, it wouldn't work, because
Yeah.
one organism couldn't become another.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how that works. And it's very exciting because every single one of your cells, with a few exceptions, contains the DNA to make every single piece of you.
Okay.
But it just uses context clues to know which ones to turn on. So you start as the one cell, and it starts differentiating, and eventually some turn into nerves, some turn into like blood vessels and stuff like that, and it just knows by what's around it.
Okay.
It's like, hey, I'm near a bunch of nerves. Maybe we need a blood vessel here. I'm going to turn off all the genes I don't need and leave the ones on that make a blood vessel.
That makes sense to me.
It's pretty cool.
That's just good housekeeping. I
It
was
is.
looking at my arms while you were describing it because
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to know like what they think, like why it's that pattern, and why like I have hair here but not hair here, and I got a mole here, and I blame DNA for all this bullshit.
which is actually true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
So you got the genetics, and so that lets you pass it on. So you have human beings have 23 pairs of chromosomes.
Yeah.
And one thing that's actually pretty interesting is chimpanzees and bonobo monkeys are our closest living ancestors. They're both equally close because they diverged as species after we diverged from our common ancestors as chimps.
Okay.
So we have 23 pairs. Chimpanzees have 24 pairs of chromosomes.
Good for them.
But if you look at our chromosome number 2,
Yeah.
it's like 2 fused together. So right in the middle of our chromosome number 2, there's like the markers you would see on the end of a chromosome.
Oh
So-
shit! So we're the fucked up ones, and the monkeys, the bonobos monkeys,
yeah.
are the correct. That's fine. That could be the final species. We could
be.
all be. I've seen Planet of the Apes like many times. They can learn science. They can get lab coats.
They could, yeah.
They can be Dr. Zaius. I
They
don't
could be
fucking know.
Dr. Zaius, Dr. Zaius.
Dr. Zaius, Dr. Zaius. So why do you like DNA so much?
Well, it's amazing that we've got this tiny little genetic storage material that's one-dimensional that is responsible for all the complexity on life you see.
Okay.
So everything is encoded by it.
Yeah.
And it's the only thing that you pass on to your kids. Oh, I mean, there's like a few exceptions, like the mother's egg gives some mitochondria and energy.
Yeah.
But for the most part, what you're passing on is your DNA.
Yeah.
And so it is really, we are bodies that are really just here to pass DNA along to make it immortal.
Okay.
And I just think it's crazy. And so I was watching a bunch of videos this weekend on why we should go to Mars.
Yeah.
So Mars had water on its surface for 5 times longer than the Earth did, and then for life showing up.
That's awesome.
So we should go to Mars and see if any life ever showed up. Will it have DNA? If it doesn't, does it have something comparable? Are we the only way that you can really make life?
Yeah.
So it'd be amazing to see a non-DNA based life form. But we have DNA. It's pretty cool. It does some neat stuff.
I think it's sweet. I think Mars is pretty cool. I feel like
Yeah.
there's a lot of people who are gonna be saying, "Get your ass to Mars."
Get your ass to Mars.
Get your ass to Mars. I have to agree with you that I also like DNA because I also like living and I like the people around me for the most part, and just everything that's in part of life is like
It's
DNA.
so similar that you could take a gene from like a human being and stick it in a bacteria like E. coli,
Yeah.
and it'll make your human protein. Like it's just the machine. It's same code.
So
from
why
everything.
aren't we doing that?
We do that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are they surviving? Are they turning into like
No,
other,
they're not. But it's
other
just a
Kyles?
way to make a bunch of that protein if you want to like.
Okay.
Get it. Yeah.
I don't-
It's something I did very briefly when I was working at the Cleveland Clinic. But you actually you circularize, you put your gene that you want in a piece of like circular DNA,
Sure.
and you actually like put it in a solution with all the bacteria,
Yeah.
and then you make it really cold, so like it's cold.
So it has to get together. It has to be the buddy system.
And then you heat it up real quick, and so that like kind of opens the outside of the cells for some reason. They like and they suck it up, and the DNA is inside.
What?
And then so its translational machinery does not know the difference between your genes and its genes, so it'll just start cranking your stuff up as well as its own.
Holy shit.
So then you can like cut the cells open and pull the proteins out.
Why didn't you teach my science class? Because that description alone makes me interested in this thing again that I haven't been interested in since, I don't know, 4th grade maybe, last I remember caring about any of this kind of stuff. Because like that just made it sound cool. If my teacher went up and just made those sound effects and those noises, I'd have been sold. I'd have been
it's a good way to visualize
A+,
it.
kiss ass student, I don't care. But instead, C's, C's get degrees in science class. So, yeah, man, DNA. Now I'm thinking about all the stuff that's in DNA. How many DNAs do we have?
I don't know. I think it's estimated we have about 30,000 genes.
Okay.
But then, without boring too many people, those can be like spliced in different ways.
Well, like per person, 30,000?
Well, per cell.
Because I think I only have like 4 pairs of genes, like here.
I get what you did.
Look
there.
at those science jokes. All right, sorry.
Yeah, but I don't remember the amount of actual base pairs you have, but it's like in the
Okay.
billions. And
Can we get more and can we lose more?
we have a bunch that's like considered junk, that it doesn't code for any proteins and doesn't
Okay.
seem to have any functional purpose.
Just kind of hangs out.
Yeah.
It's like that
'cause
lazy uncle.
There's no reason to get rid of it if it's not harming.
Yeah.
So it just kind of hangs around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But there's still a lot not known about that. And a lot of that stuff, they're finding out that it gets turned into RNA that doesn't get turned into proteins, that just the RNA does some stuff.
Like
I
what?
feel like it can actually help regulate the expressions of things that are genes. So
Okay.
like it's because it's
Make some superpowers?
like, you know, the gene is right here, but then just upstream of that gene, that part will be turned into RNA too.
Okay.
And like it sometimes will then bind to stuff that overlaps with the gene. I don't know. There's a lot like non-coding RNAs and silencing RNAs. It's just a bunch of crazy stuff that I didn't prepare for here, so I don't want to accidentally misspeak. And
Okay.
also I feel like it might get kind of boring.
Like some people else in this room who
Yeah.
don't do their research and just kind of shoot off the hip or the
Yeah.
gun hip gun.
hip gun.
Hip gun. Can I
Yeah.
get a hip gun with my DNA? Can I cash in DNA?
No.
Can I transfer DNA to another human?
Well, I guess technically when you engage in coitus with a female human,
That
and
never
make a
happens. Don't worry
baby,
about it. But no, I
You're
meant like,
transferring.
say if like you're like, oh man, I'm low on the DNA. Like, can they like cut me up and be like, under his left leg, he's got a good DNA spot, and then just like switch it?
No.
You think I'm being dumb? I'm asking these questions
Yeah.
for serious.
No. Like
How's your health?
Yeah.
Is it good? I really hope so.
I mean, there is some kind of cool science into like, you know, what about genetic diseases where people like literally don't have a functioning copy of a gene that they need to be healthy?
yeah.
So is it okay to go in like, hey, we saw you conceived this child. You know,
Yeah.
it's a few months developed.
Congrats.
So what if we, in your amniotic fluid or whatever, just put in this solution that whenever it found the broken gene, cut it out and put in this proper one?
Yeah.
But then, you know, that kind of raises moral issues of like, well, I see you have the brown-eyed gene, but I want a blue-eyed kid. I don't know.
Well, that sounds like the movie Gattaca.
I have not seen that.
It is not good by any means. I never seen that in high school and went, sure, that's a thing that could happen, I guess. I don't know. That makes sense to me. Why not? It's a good concept, but just poorly executed. I don't even know who's in it. Ethan Hawke, maybe.
I
don't know.
I know nothing
Antonio
about this movie.
Banderas, Uma Thurman. I'm just gonna keep naming people until you stop me.
I feel like I've gone long.
thanks.
I just want to say like
No,
DNA
no.
is cool. We should learn more about it.
I find it to be interesting because we're full of it. Like I'm full of it, and you're full of it. The whole world is full of it.
Okay, so there's this funny nerdy science fact.
Perfect.
So it so when I was talking about cloning DNA, a lot of times they have these constructs where you have like a gene already in a circular vector so you can use it.
Okay.
And so back before email, people would write to other scientists, "Hey, I saw you have this construct in this paper you published. Mm-hmm. Can I get some?" And they'd write you back like, "No." Well, it's so floaty in the air that people would oftentimes take that piece of paper and then get the DNA off of it. of their
Oh,
like rejection letter.
Look at that.
Yeah.
That's some science shit. That's like some spy shit. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm impressed by scientists. Like I
Science
am
is cool.
every day when they make cool things that I use. Like water.
Scientists don't
and
make that.
computers.
I would say they make computers.
Okay, cool. One
Engineering,
out of two
I
ain't
don't know.
bad. That's
Yeah.
fine. I can deal.
Well, maybe they make water. We eventually, if we want to go to Mars, though, have to figure out how to like have a water reclaimer. So they need to learn how to make
And
water.
a water eclair.
Reclaimer.
Oh, they said eclair.
Yeah.
I'm hungry, as you can tell.
Yeah.
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 DNA's cool for the kids.
Cool for the kids.
I'm gonna start doing slogans for DNA now.
Kids on the street.
Kids on the beat. Beat kids. Beat kids. DNA.
Yeah.
Just like your mom. I don't.
No. Kyle, what do you like?
Okay. Speaking of DNA, I like to cook food.
Ooh.
Have you ever cooked a food before?
I have cooked one or two foods before.
in your life? So you're aware that exists.
Yeah,
That's an
I'm
activity.
aware of that as a concept.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So what happens is in the dawn of time, we all get DNA, and we take this DNA and we pass it among folks between penis and vagina, and also through this thing called a food. And all the foods are we consume them with our mouths or through like tubes and stuff because of science and DNA again. Full circle, buddy. This is how I'm gonna be.
Okay.
And sometimes it's delicious. Sometimes it's good for us. Sometimes it's bad for us, and sometimes it doesn't taste good. I like making food. I think it's very fun. I spent a good portion of my Sunday making cow tongue chili. And
I saw the Snapchat of that.
yes,
Yeah.
and that took fucking forever. But it felt, at the end of the day, I'm like, that felt good.
Are you
I only
happy
cut
with how it
myself.
turned out?
I am. I only cut myself twice, so I'm happy. I'm a fingers.
Good job, Kyle.
That's. I mean, last time I cut myself that bad, I had to go get stitches. So I feel like I did okay. I did all right. But yeah, no, it tastes really good. There's a bunch of peppers in it, and there's cow tongue, which if you haven't had cow tongue before, it's very soft kind of meat. Like it's good.
What makes
honestly.
you want to go with cow tongue chili?
Well, when I worked at the factory, we had some people would bring in food and stuff like that, and for I believe a Christmas party, someone brought in this chili that had cow tongue in it, and it was phenomenal. He made it so good, and it was the right kind of spiciness. It had the right amount of meat to it. It just, everything went together perfectly. So I basically he gave me the recipe, and I replicated it to the best of my ability. But it's good. I gotta tell you, cutting a tongue though, by the way, is really weird.
I
It's
bet
very,
it is, yeah.
it's because I put it in the crock pot for like 12 hours, and then I had to like cut the tongue and then like peel off the hard part of the tongue, which is the anyways, it tastes really good. But yes, I've come to the conclusion that when I moved out away from my parents, that cooking food is enjoyable. It makes me feel like I'm doing something. It makes me feel a little more pride in eating, as opposed to like when I'm drunk and I go to Taco Bell and at Taco Bell at 3 o'clock in the morning and I go, I want a cheesy gordita crunch, and they make it for me. Doesn't feel as good if I'm drunk as balls at 3 o'clock in the morning and I make my own nachos that spill over into the microwave and almost burn it down, which didn't happen. I'm making a hypothetical.
Okay.
But I had to eat nachos drunk, and it's amazing. So it's the idea of
And it's
putting
always
something.
impressive when a person can cook. Like, you've never seen
Exactly.
that a person can cook and then just lowered your opinion of them. You're like,
Yeah.
wow, this person's even more awesome than I realized.
Exactly. And it's not that hard to do. Most things give you directions. Like, I look up directions all the time to make sure I'm grilling things
it's
correctly.
Not baking. Like, cooking
No.
is, more or less just go to taste.
Yeah,
baking
yeah.
can suck.
Baking, that could turn into, like, it depends on what kind of oven you have and exactly what rack you put it on and how much, all that stuff. And I would like to get into baking as well. I don't think I'd be as good at it, but I'm getting good as once I moved out from my parents' house, I said, I think I should learn how to cook. And that's what I've been doing. And it's been fun. It's been weird. I've been like marinating stuff and like cooking things and like putting out a grill.
It feels, one thing I always thought was kind of weird though. I started watching kind of some of the cooking shows that were on Netflix, like Cutthroat Kitchen, which is a really fun one.
I just started watching that. That's
Yeah,
also part of my like.
And then Chopped is another one.
Chopped is another one.
A lot of women say, like, I'm going to prove that, like, women can be a good chef, too. But, like, isn't the negative stereotype that a woman's place is in the kitchen? Like, why are they...
I don't know. It's I feel like in that, just once again, it's always that thing of, they always say that a man can do everything better than a woman, which is statistically proven wrong. That's just not how the world works.
Except getting women pregnant.
That's
we are
true.
Much better.
We are pretty solid at getting women pregos. But yeah, no, I've also been watching those Chopped at work, and then Jason and I have been watching Cutthroat Kitchen here. And it just gets me excited to keep cooking and like finding stuff at the grocery and just been like, oh, I saw them use that in Cutthroat Kitchen. I'm going to buy that and I'm totally going to burn it. It's going to feel so good. And it's like, it excites me a little bit to be like, I'm going to cook something. Cumin,
but it's going
somewhere it's going to go in someone's fucking stomach. I don't care. I put a lot of cumin in the chili. I must admit.
It's a good spice.
It's a good spice. I like the idea of learning something that's also very practical in my world. So it's like, I feel like I need to learn this, and I feel like I'm having a good time learning it. Mm-hmm. So cooking food, that's my like. So that was pretty quick. I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty well established that cooking is a pretty good thing. What is yo dislike this week? Sucka MC James. I'm gonna keep talking until you keep
Cancer.
Cool.
Comedic timing.
Well, I mean, you kept clicking on your phone, so I'm gonna keep saying names until he finds his problem.
I was actually waiting for you to stop talking.
Oh, my bad. My bad. I also don't know how timing works because I only do comedic things once in a while.
So yeah, my dislike is cancer. And it's related to DNA is because, like I said, everything that I've heard of that exists so far starts as a single cell.
Correct.
So to turn into more cells and different cells, it goes through the cell cycle where it copies its DNA and then becomes daughter cells that then either don't differentiate, kind of stay more stem cell-like, or eventually turn into arms, legs, muscle fibers.
Did Cell ever have kids in Dragon Ball Z? I feel like they would be called stem cells.
He had those mini cells that then he sicked on everyone, and then they beat up everyone.
Were they sickle cells? Oh no! Don't let me do things like this. This is not. And then, anyways, good.
That made Gohan go Super Saiyan 2, and then he killed them all and had the power to beat Cell Prime. Anyways,
okay. Yeah. I don't know what any of that means, but I know a little bit of character.
So there's always this cure cancer, but I'm just cancer is not one disease.
Okay.
It can be like millions. It really all it is a unregulated cell cycle.
Okay.
This cell, it usually almost from as far as I've seen, starts as a single cell and just grows and grows and grows.
Yeah.
And so there are 6 hallmarks of what makes something cancer. So, for cells to grow, they need growth signals from the neighboring cells.
Okay.
So,
also, does Hallmark know that you're saying this is the hallmark of cancer?
Yes, these are the hallmarks of cancer. Send a greeting card. So that means that they're capable of making their own growth signals. And so a simple analogy of this, I'm getting this from a paper that was published, is the accelerator pedal is stuck on.
Okay.
And then there's also an insensitivity to anti-growth signals, which is like saying the brakes don't work.
Oh,
and
that's a problem.
There's evading apoptosis. So apoptosis is when your body purposely destroys cells that needs to get rid of. Oh. There's also necrosis where they die and split open, and this can hurt damaging cells.
I do the first one mentally.
Yeah, but the apoptosis breaks them down so it can reuse stuff.
Okay.
So this is kind of like they don't die when the body's like, hey, you need to die.
Isn't that a good thing, though? Like they repurpose them?
No, apoptosis is a good thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So what it's saying is they evade apoptosis. So the third hallmark of a cancer cell is it evades apoptosis.
That sounds pretty good.
So the fourth hallmark is it has limitless replicative potential. So we do have a few adult stem cells, but for the most part, all of our cells only go on for about 50 generations.
Are they the same age as us?
Yes.
In us, do they have a starting point, like when we're those all.
Well, I mean,
never
we all
mind.
start from that single cell, and some specifically kind of stay stem cells, so they don't really get differentiated into anything.
Okay.
I mean, or maybe like a touch in the door, so these are like all of my muscle stem cells or something like that.
Okay.
But then once like it differentiates, it really only goes through 50 generations, and then it dies, and you need a new stem cell to step up and set it out.
Okay.
But
What's
cancer
a
cells,
generation? Just like how we
so
define generation.
If you start as one cell and you split to two,
Okay.
that's generation 2. Those 2 cells split to 4, that's generation 3. Those 4 cells split to 8, that's generation 4.
Okay.
So that goes on.
This is like a Hydra
Yeah.
kind of thing. And
Exactly.
I was gonna stop you there because I don't know how to do math, so I
Yeah.
don't want to make you do that.
So those normal cells go on for about 50. This is called the Hayflick limit.
Okay.
Cancer cells go on forever. And so the 5th hallmark of cancer is that they have sustained angiogenesis, which
Okay.
just means they pull blood vessels over. They either make new blood vessels or pull blood vessels over, so they get blood, so they
Yeah.
can keep growing. So these 5 things together are not cancer. So if you ever heard of someone having a benign tumor, you can have all of these things and it's not cancer yet.
those 5.
Yeah.
So what's the 6th?
So here, the 6 is tissue invasion and metastasis. So it is not cancer until it leaves where it started. So if it was like a liver stem cell that started, you can have a benign liver tumor. But if that splits to even like different, like the pancreas or anything,
Yeah.
there's metastasis. It invaded other tissues.
Yeah.
It's now cancer.
But don't you not need the pancreas?
You need the pancreas.
What's the thing you don't need in your body?
appendix.
That's what it is.
And some say the gallbladder.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
sister has her gallbladder removed. Sorry, I don't know if she even listens to this half the time.
Yeah.
Guess what? Your gallbladder's removed, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Way to be the worst child. Anyways, so yeah, cancer's bad.
Yeah, it is.
Cancer's like super
So
bad.
I just, I'm just trying to say out there, like, it sucks. Mm-hmm. So one, don't give your money to the Susan G. Komen Foundation.
Okay.
They are a terrible foundation. Mm-hmm. So they primarily study breast cancer. So there are these 2 genes that have been found to be linked to breast cancer.
All right.
BRCA1 and BRCA2, they're called. And Susan G. Komen tried to patent them. And they did patent them until the Supreme Court came in and it's like, no, that sounds like something a comic book villain would do. We're not going to let you patent genes. But essentially what they said, these are genes that everyone has in their body. Even me and you, we just don't express them.
Yeah. Because I'm not a lady, is that why?
Exactly.
Okay.
But they're like, yeah, no one else can study these. And if anyone finds a cure related to these, they can't use it because we patented these genes, which is like something Satan would do.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, and
Damn
then-
it, Susan.
And then they sue a bunch of other charities that use the term for the cure. So if you don't know any better, like, hey, I just want to raise like $1,500, to help prostate cancer for the cure. They're going to sue you.
Really?
Yeah. And then very little of the money you donate them goes back into cancer research. It's
Yeah.
generally just like,
For their employees and stuff?
yeah. So, yeah, they suck. And then the other thing is, like I said, cancer isn't one disease. So there probably will never be a cure, but it might reach the point where, like, when you're brushing your teeth, you can have a toothbrush that, like, reads some of your genome and be like, hey, this tumor suppressor gene I noticed is mutated in some of your cells. You might want to start, checking this out because you have, like, step 1 in the 6-step process of eventually developing cancer. So, I mean, it's just something to keep in mind that there will never be a cure because it is not one disease and it is literally a failing of our cell cycle. And so we have some genes that are always like that are called tumor suppressors that are just their purpose is on the lookout for uncontrolled growth. They signal these cells and destroy them. And then there's other genes that are called oncogenes, which promote cancer. So sometimes they're on in normal levels and they become an oncogene when they're like upregulated, or these are genes that are only present during fetal development but then turn off completely in every cell since then.
Ooh.
If they get turned back on, they can promote cancer. And so really, we're going to need to know more about the DNA until we can actually, really start treating all forms of cancer and prevention and really be like, hey, you're at high risk right now, so let's do this so you won't actually develop into cancer.
So the steps should be that we should go back into DNA and try to figure out what it's stemming from?
It's a good place to start because, what happens is you have millions and millions and millions, millions and millions of cells in your body.
Sure.
So one of them could get a mutation that's like 1 foot in the door to developing cancer.
Okay.
And that doesn't matter unless that same cell then gets a second and a third and eventually enough to turn on. So between all of different cells in your body, you probably have enough mutations that if you stuck them all together, that would develop into cancer. Mm-hmm. But because they haven't happened in the same cells, you're still healthy.
Okay.
So, I mean, it just might eventually, I think what is most likely is we'll reach the point where you just kind of monitor those things and like, hey, we're starting to notice that a lot of your cells have this mutation in it.
Yeah.
It by itself isn't a problem, but we've linked this to X type of cancer, so let's start screening you that
To the
for
process
all the time.
and whatnot.
And then if like a tumor does show up, we can just cut it out before it even turns into cancer. So,
Okay. Well, if we wanted to donate to a cancer fund, is there a better one than Susan G. Komen?
I should have looked that up. I'm not sure what the best
all
ones
good.
to do are.
I'm pretty sure if you guys could do a little bit of Googling, we could kind of figure this out. I feel like cancer is a very serious... I know it has affected my family greatly, many times, and I don't know. It's just, I guess, check yourself out and make sure you go to the doctor regularly.
Yeah, there's some risk ones. If you have a history in your family, it means you probably... Like I said, it's a culmination of steps. If you have a family history, you're probably 1 or 2 steps towards it already.
Yeah.
So that just means that all of your cells already have point mutation 1 or point mutation 2. So if it gets 3, sometimes that's enough to set it off.
Okay.
So yeah.
It's pretty. It's I find it to be a very serious subject, and it's just.
I know I was like dark, but I'm just like
it's an important thing. We are doing important work here, James. We are talking about cancer, and we're talking about people, and we're talking about lives and DNA. And all that jazz. And sometimes we need to be a little dark. As Bob Ross says, you need to have a little dark points in your life so you can appreciate the light ones better. That's all I got from Bob Ross. That's all I know of him.
Happy little trees.
Happy little trees. But yes, I feel like cancer is a no-no.
Yeah, it sucks.
It's not. It brings that person down, everyone around them down. It's just not a good thing, and we should be taking money away from Susan. What a bitch. And we should be finding other ways to use that cash, because I'm assuming, because the fact that it is probably one of the, I can't think of another cancer association. I guess does Livestrong technically count? I guess. I guess I'm really ignorant towards this.
I really should have done more research
it's
on
okay.
the foundations.
It's
I'm
okay. I don't do any research ever
that's
for
true.
any of this stuff, so it's fine. You get your 7 passes still. We're good.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. But yeah, no, I just feel like we could be using that money to do other to do more research.
Yeah, we need more research in this so we can really start pinpointing. Like maybe we could quantify what are the most likely and know what genes to look at and actually get the technology to look at these genes. So I mean,
it's gonna take time.
Yeah, I don't want to get political here, but like I generally don't like the government spending money, but this is something the government should be spending money on.
Yes.
We need more money to the NIH, more money to NASA, even just more science, because that pays back eventually.
It does.
And usually not in the election cycle, which is why no one wants to do it. But down the line,
it's not. It never helps right away. It always helps at a much later and greater time. So we may not be spending. We should be spending money now to get ready for Mars, so we can get all the water and maybe some cool stuff up there.
How cool would are we the only way life can exist?
No.
Are we the only life? We don't know answers. You say no, but we don't know.
Say no, but I guess that's the hopeful
I don't understand how people
side
aren't super interested in this. Are we a unique phenomena in the universe? Are we literally the only life that exists? Or is it super common?
Well, Big Bang Theory's on in the television, so what else do we need in my life?
No,
I have 2.5 Men and the nightly news. I'm so consumed with myself and my television, which I can't really make fun of any of that, because all I do,
like the news.
That's all I do is watch television.
Everything is terrible. We're all murdering each other with guns, and ISIS is gonna kill us, and the Earth is 17 trillion degrees Celsius, and we're all gonna evaporate.
It makes me, every time I watch the news, it makes me just want to like sit in my room with the lights off and just keep drinking whiskey out of a bottle and just fucking try to deal with my existence.
Read those Cyanide and Happiness depressing comics to feel better.
Oh man, those are low. Those are low.
Yeah, those not push buttons.
Speaking of news, I My dislike for this week is going to the gym, and they have the news there all the time. Look at that. That's called a segue. Professionalism. Did you want to wrap up anything with cancer?
No, I mean,
Okay. I felt like we were getting in a rut, a really sad
was
rut,
kind of a
which
rut.
is fine, and like that's not a problem. But I also like to talk.
Really, Kyle?
I'm such an asshole. I swear to God. So I hate going to the gym.
Everyone does.
It is an awful activity. It is one of my least favorite activities to do. It's like, I think yard work is first and then probably the gym. But I think I go to the gym several times a week now. I'm in this habit of going to the gym because I like to feel better a little bit, but the activity itself is garbage.
Especially cardio is the worst. And I know everyone should do it and do more of it, but like when I was going to the gym, which I haven't done in months,
Okay.
my job just leaves me too tired right now.
Yeah, but you have a lot more
I lift
physically
bags and
demanding
stuff, but-
job.
Like I didn't actively like lifting weights, but it was kind of cool to be like, hey, I'm lifting 5 pounds more than I did last time. And eventually you can get to some pretty big numbers.
It's like some RPG elements to
Yeah,
it.
exactly. The first time I ever bench pressed with 2 plates on each side, I just felt like I earned my Y chromosome. I'm like, cool, I'm a man now.
I did it. I
Yeah.
am the best.
Yeah.
I just going to the gym blows. I have to sign it. Like I have to like show them my stupid thing. It's got a beep, and it's like it's like a barcode thing, and then I gotta like put all my stuff down, and then I gotta like put in my headphones because they always play either top 40 or country or like bad EDM. So it's like the worst. And then I go and I'm doing some cardio, which I don't mind. I really like the elliptical. That's like always been a thing I
There's
like.
no impact at all. It's good for your knees.
I know.
I just feel like
I feel like my
am
knees
not
are like
working
dope.
out.
I feel like my knees
look
are
like
fantastic.
I'm in a training video.
I could do power slides all day long, motherfucker. So it's just like they have a bunch of TVs and it's either on sports or news. It's like I fucking just want to watch something good to distract myself from the fact that I'm literally going nowhere. I'm just running without a cause. Like, and it's just all the people are sweaty there and they're disgusting and they smell.
Well, most people are gross, and us included. I know
Yeah.
I was like, I'm disgusting while I'm at the gym, and then like, I don't even want to be here. I'm a little self-conscious about doing this, and then there's mirrors everywhere, so you obviously catch glances with strangers.
Yeah,
don't look at me.
Yeah,
I have 300 pounds
exactly.
on my back right now. I'm about to die.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
go
Like
away.
this is not my perfect state. And it's just like it's just a weird atmosphere. Just that whole self-conscious thing. I was very self-conscious about going to the gym, and I thank my roommate Jason a lot for helping me get into the groove and understanding how a gym works a little more. So now I can go by myself and not feel like I'm being watched the whole time. I'm still being watched. I wear weird shirts. I look like I shouldn't be there, so clearly people are gonna watch me. Like I look like I have like I look interesting. I look like my body isn't the only thing that I have going for me. So they're confused. And not to say those aren't nice people. I'm sure they're great. I just don't want to fucking talk to them because
I
they
know.
smell funny and they're usually
You're
older.
at a low point. You're literally like using all of your energy to tear down your body, like actually ripping it apart.
Exactly.
So it can
See,
feel
once
better,
again,
but, like,
full circle. I'm breaking apart my DNAs to get more stronger DNAs, so I'm pumping iron.
Okay.
Ugh.
So, I don't want to get like too into this.
Gross.
But there's this thing that can happen to DNA. It's called epigenetics, where like the DNA doesn't change, but the way it's expressed is. So there's this one
express yourself differently.
Think of this as like you have your DNA, and
Okay.
you literally just stick something to it. So then the machinery that comes and turns it into protein eventually can't get on there.
Like a DLC.
No, nothing like that.
Nailed it.
So I saw this cool paper that was like, if you work out 2 or 3 times a day, like 500 genes are like either turned on or off by this epigenetics.
Yeah.
So like just working out twice a week doesn't actually change the sequence of your DNA, but changes the way it's expressed. Like,
Okay.
And a lot of these genes were like linked to obesity and stuff.
Okay.
So it really is a good idea to get off your ass
Yeah.
and just move.
And that's what keeps me going is just knowing that I want to live for a long time.
Yeah, at least as
because
long
I
as
want to
possible,
piss a
yeah.
lot of people off that I'm still alive, and it makes me very happy.
I have a lot of meat that I cooked to put in my body.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and that's also go back to the cooking food. I feel like I can get away with like cooking like a steak if I work out really well and I do everything I need to do, and I get all my calories out, and
And then I had like after the gym or like a really hard day at work where I'm just like lifting shit all the time and just kind of. My girlfriend isn't home, and I just revert into like base caveman mode. Where one night I cooked 2 steaks for dinner, didn't season them at all, ate them without fork and knife, drank 3 glasses of bourbon, and went to bed by like 7:30. It's just like we are caveman.
And you didn't say any words. You just hit your chest a lot when you were happy. Yeah. See, it feels good to work out, but like while I'm there, like I just feel tired and it hurts. I hate those. Those are my 2. I hate those feelings. I hate feeling sad. I hate feeling tired. And I hate when things hurt.
Well, there's also delayed onset muscle soreness.
Yeah.
DOMS, I think they call it.
Sure.
So I get it really, really bad if I miss the gym for a couple of weeks. And so that's why I don't want to go back now, because when I go back and I squat,
It's gonna hurt.
I can't fucking walk normal. Oh, that's the first word I've F-bomb. I was trying to avoid it. Can't walk normal for like a week.
Okay.
It is a nightmare.
It sucks. You have to get back into that groove, and it's just like that's a whole uphill battle as it is. But yeah, it's just like I just hate the atmosphere. I hate the people around there. Just like no one, I can look at them. I just not saying that I'm judging people by their cover, but I'm judging people by their cover. These are people that I would normally not hang out with and normally not talk to. And yeah, I'll say hi to some people and I'll wave and I'll ask them if they're using equipment or whatever. But I just don't want to be. I don't want to be there. They're like in that. It's in a strip. It's in like a strip mall. And next to it is a restaurant. Next to that is a GameStop. I'd rather be at the GameStop buying a dumb game that I don't need.
Although
I'd rather
I've
be at the
not bought
restaurant.
anything from a GameStop in forever.
I bought Fallout 4 from a GameStop. That was I didn't. Jason and I split it just to.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Because you're doing that, it's okay on console. And I heard they're gonna do some mods, but like
Yeah.
Bethesda games, I feel like you have to play on a computer. To
I
get the full experience.
agree, but I also don't care enough about Fallout to play it probably more than once.
Do you think Stoops actually listened all the way through and got to this point?
He does.
He does?
I think so. For the most part, I believe he does, because he always calls me out when we keep talking about video games for too long. He goes, "You lost me at the video game talk," and I'm like, "All right, I don't know what to tell you, boss. I don't know." Okay. Now we're talking about gym, other things that he doesn't participate in. I know you don't participate, Stoops. That's right. Fight me. You can't. I can't fight either. It's fine. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about our feelings. But yeah, I just don't like the gym. I go because I feel like I need to.
Everyone should.
I feel like that's just a normal thing. People should exercise, and so I feel like that's very.
Everyone should exercise. There were very few people that good advice is to exercise less.
Yeah. I've never heard that, unless they're exercising like 3 or 4 times a day. Then you probably should tone it down a little bit.
If you don't have a personal life because you're spending your entire time at the gym and you're like starving, and it's like you're $30 a week, you're going to a gym membership.
Exactly, like that's a problem too. There has to be some extreme. Just get up and move around a little bit, and then you can eat the crappier foods. Like when I do the drunk Taco Bell, I don't feel as bad because I know that I'm working out, and I know that I would still eat it anyways. So now I feel like it's not hurting me as much.
So there's like, different aspects of health, like cholesterol and stuff. But if you want to lose weight, a calorie is a calorie. You could eat nothing but Twinkies as long as you're eating at a deficit. So you can go eat Taco Bell and still lose weight. It's just harder, but you can.
Yeah. I don't want to eat Twinkies. Twinkies are fucking disgusting.
I have not had one in probably 15 years.
I don't
even remember.
I'm just not a big fan of desserts. I'm not a fan of candy or anything. So all Hostess stuff, I don't.
Butter.
I don't find is peanut butter a dessert?
Well, I was thinking like I the only thing at like Halloween and stuff or Christmas, if I get like Reese's, I eat them, and the chocolate's all right, but it's just because you gave me a ball of peanut butter. This is awesome.
That's my one exception. Is have you ever had a frozen Reese cup though?
No.
Oh, we have those in the fridge, in the freezer. You need to try one after this.
I'll try one.
It is life-changing. It's the only. Once again, I don't eat candy. I rarely do. I have stuff in there from literally 9 months ago. I just don't eat candy. But when I want the craving, it's a frozen Reese cup.
Awesome.
So this is food talk with James and Kyle.
What I liked was cooking. Food
I know.
is, like,
I feel
totally
like
on
but
point.
I didn't cook the Reese. I mean,
Yeah.
I cooked it into freezing. Is that a thing?
No.
I didn't watch enough Chopped yet to know if that's a thing or not. So, anyways, I think that this is a good episode. This is a good jumping off point and end point at the same time.
So this is probably going to be the last new episode we record before 2016. So,
This is correct.
we just want to thank those of you who are listening for listening.
Thank
we
you.
hope you have a great holiday season.
Yes.
For whichever holidays you are celebrating.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it. Let's do some plugs. I have plugs. Do you have any plugs?
I don't think I have a single plug.
Okay, I have a couple of plugs. I apologize. I just came out with a Fallout 4 parody video.
Oh, yeah,
It's
I
called
did see
Save the Wastelanders. You can probably look it up on YouTube. It'll probably pop up. It'll see my face, and you'll see Jason. And it is all about saving a Fallout player's life through donating money, like the Save the Children Foundation, because I'm a jerk and I parodied them. An actual organization that actually helps children. That I don't know the degree of they help them, but whatever. Yeah. And then I also finally released our 48-hour film festival short film, Peacock, which is also on my YouTube channel. So if you just look up Mayor Wertz, you can probably find both of them very quickly. And then sometime this month, we're still being determined, my Midnight Movie EP will be released. It'll be for free, so that'll be a fun little end of the year kind of funsies. Yeah, so I guess just follow me on all the social medias at Mayor Wertz. And James, what were your likes and dislikes this week?
I like DNA and I don't like cancer.
I like cooking food and I don't like going to the gym. Also, the next podcast, I think we're just gonna release one that
we
we've
recorded
done
a couple of episodes just to get the
Just for
format.
fun.
So we'll call it. It won't be episode 10. It'll just be like beta episode 1 or whatever.
Yeah, so we have recorded a handful of episodes just to try to get the feel of us kind of talking and doing this. So we felt like, it's the end of the season. Why not give you guys a little treat of hearing our awful first couple episodes? Well, I think we recorded what, 3?
I can't remember.
I'll have to look them up. I have them somewhere. So yeah, we'll release the first one in a couple weeks as a thank you. Once again, this has been the Plucking Petals podcast with James and Kyle. I am Kyle.
I'm James.
Have a good evening.
As we go a little something like.
This has been the Plucking Petals podcast with James McConnell and Kyle Wertz. Produced by Patrick Stoops. Find us on Twitter at plucking_petals or email us at pluckingpetalspodcast@gmail.com.